The first thing Daniel noticed was the girl's hands. They were trembling, not dramatically, not enough for anyone else to notice, but just slightly, as if she were trying to hold herself together with sheer will. "If you let me stay," she said softly, her voice almost swallowed by the evening wind, "I'll cook, and take care of the house." Daniel tightened his grip on the doorframe. He had heard excuses before. Promises too. Life had taught him that desperation often dressed itself as sincerity. "I'm sorry," he began, already preparing to close the door. "I can't." "Please." That one word stopped him. Not because it was loud or dramatic, but because it wasn't. It came out small, fragile, like it had already been rejected 100 times before reaching him. Daniel sighed and looked past her. The streetlights flickered to life, casting long shadows across the quiet neighborhood. It wasn't a place for strangers to wander, especially not someone like her, thin, exhausted, and carrying nothing but a small, worn-out bag. Behind him, a small voice called out. "Daddy? Who is it?" Daniel closed his eyes for a moment. That changed everything. He turned back to the girl. "What's your name?" "Amina." He hesitated. Every instinct screamed no. He had a 6-year-old daughter to protect. He couldn't just let strangers into their lives. And yet, there was something in Amina's eyes. Not just fear, but dignity. As if asking for help was the hardest thing she had ever done. "You said you'd cook?" he asked. She nodded quickly. "And clean. I can do everything. I won't cause trouble." Another small voice behind him, closer this time. "Daddy, can she come in? It's cold." Daniel turned to see his daughter, Lily, clutching her stuffed rabbit, peeking around the corner with wide, curious eyes. He looked back at Amina. Then, against his better judgment, he stepped aside. "Just for tonight," he said firmly. Amina didn't smile. She didn't celebrate. She just whispered, "Thank you," and stepped inside like someone entering sacred ground. That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. He lay awake, staring at the ceiling, listening. At first, there was silence. Then, faintly, the sound of movement in the kitchen. He sat up instantly. Quietly, he walked down the hallway and peeked in. Amina stood by the stove, sleeves rolled up, her hair loosely tied back. She was cooking, not hastily, not nervously, but carefully. Like someone who respected the act itself. The smell reached him a moment later. Warm. Comforting. Familiar in a way he hadn't felt in years. He froze. It smelled like home. Not the quiet, empty house he had grown used to, but the one from before. Before hospital bills. Before sleepless nights. Before loss hollowed everything out. Before Lily started asking why Mommy wasn't coming back. Daniel swallowed hard and stepped back into the shadows before she noticed him. The next morning, Lily was laughing. Really laughing. Daniel hadn't heard that sound in months. He walked into the kitchen to find Amina kneeling beside her, showing her how to flip a pancake. "Careful," Amina said gently. "Wait for the bubbles, see? Now turn it." Lily giggled when it landed slightly crooked. "I did it." "You did," Amina smiled softly. Daniel stood there, stunned. For a moment, everything looked normal. Too normal. "Daddy." Lily ran over, grabbing his hand. "Amina makes better pancakes than you." Daniel raised an eyebrow. "Oh really?" Amina immediately looked down. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to." "It's fine," he interrupted. "They do smell good." It was the closest thing to a compliment he'd given in a long time. Days turned into a week. Then 2. Amina kept her word. The house changed. Not in big, dramatic ways, but in small, quiet ones. The dishes were always clean. The laundry folded neatly. Meals were warm and ready on time. But more than that. The house felt alive again. Lily started talking more. Laughing more. Sleeping better. And Daniel? He found himself coming home, earlier. One evening, he paused at the door, listening. Lily's laughter echoed again, this time louder, freer. And Amina's voice followed. And then the little bird said, "I'm not afraid anymore." Daniel stepped inside slowly. "You tell stories too?" he asked. Amina looked startled. "Just, little ones." Lily ran to him. "Daddy, she makes up stories. Can she stay forever?" The question hit harder than it should have. Daniel forced a small smile. "We'll see." But that night, the question didn't leave him. It happened on a rainy evening. Daniel came home late. The house was quiet. Too quiet. "Lily," he called out. No answer. His heart started racing. He rushed inside, only to find Lily asleep on the couch, her head resting in Amina's lap. Amina sat there, gently brushing Lily's hair away from her face. "She had a fever," Amina whispered. "I gave her medicine. She's better now." Daniel's chest tightened. "You stayed with her?" Amina nodded. "Of course. Of course." Such simple words, but they carried something heavy. Something real. Daniel looked at his daughter, peaceful and safe. Then at Amina. And for the first time, he saw it clearly. She wasn't just someone asking for shelter. She was someone who had already become part of their home. "Why didn't you tell me you needed more than one night?" he asked quietly. Amina hesitated. "I didn't think I had the right to ask." Daniel exhaled slowly. "And if I say you can stay?" She looked up at him, her eyes filled with something he hadn't seen before. "Hope." "I won't waste it," she said. "I know," he replied. And for the first time in a long time, Daniel meant what he said next. "You can stay." Months passed. The house was no longer quiet. It was filled with laughter, stories, and the soft, steady rhythm of a life rebuilt, not perfectly, but honestly. One night, Lily hugged them both tightly. "This feels like a real family," she said sleepily. Daniel and Amina exchanged a glance. Neither of them spoke. But neither of them pulled away either. Sometimes, the people who ask for help end up giving more than they receive. And sometimes, opening your door, even when it feels risky, is the first step toward healing a heart you thought was beyond repair. Because love doesn't always arrive loudly. Sometimes, it shows up quietly. With trembling hands, a soft voice, and a simple promise. "If you let me stay."